So in this initiative, the whole community comes together to identify the most innovative product of the year. Couple of things if I tell you, when we have launched this initiative way back in 2014, it was launched at a very small scale. But in last 10 years of time, and if we just recap the last 9 years, the level it has achieved, it is a major credit goes to the support which came in from the community itself. And the most important thing, the scale are companies which were part of this initiative. Obviously, the winners, but also the participants, which scale that they have received or achieved in last several years of time frame. That has taken this initiative and made this initiative a very prominent one. So when we were reaching to the 10-year, we thought to expand it, and now we are here. So I'm pleased to share our eminent jury panel, if we can have it on the screen. So thank you, all the jury members, for accepting our request to be part of this jury. We have 6 participants, and again, I'll just double-click that part as well. So we have decided to launch this initiative just 15 days before this event, actually. And the kind of response we have received from the community, it was really difficult for us. Definitely, it's a good problem to have that. Actually, difficult for us to shortlist 6 companies. It was really prominent nominations that we have received. But it's a good problem to have for DSCI. And here we have these 6 companies. If we can flash the names of those companies as well. In terms of flow, if I just talk about, so we'll have 5 minutes given to each companies. After 5 minutes, we'll have 2 minutes of question answer by the jury panel, and then voting by all of you. So I think my team has already distributed the voting pads here, and my colleague Akshay and Nadeem will help you out in terms of knowing how are we going to vote. So you will have 1 to 5 numbers, and 1 is minimum, 5 is highest that you have to vote. After each presentation, you will be given with a 30 seconds of time. So with this, I'll request my colleague Nadeem and Akshay to assist us with the voting process, please.
Sure. Thank you, Atul. So I hope everyone have received their voting pads in hands, right? So we will have 5 minutes presentation, and after each presentation, you will have 30 seconds to cast your vote, right? And you'll be rating from 1 to 5, where 1 is the lowest and 5 is the highest, okay? And within 30 seconds, which is the last number you are pressing, that's the score, okay? Okay, maybe we will try a demo also now. We'll do a demo, yeah. So see, this is company ABCD, and you are casting vote from 1 to 5. Please cast your vote now. Timer starts. 5 is the highest, 1 is the lowest.
Can we show the results?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you everyone.
So this is the process that we are going to follow. In terms of calculation, 70% weightage is given to the scores coming in from the jury panel, and 30% weightage is given to the audience poll. Sequentially, we will have the presentation in alphabetical order of the company's name. And after concluding all the 6 presentations, we'll take a couple of minutes to conclude the results, and we'll come back and we'll have the prize distribution immediately after all 6 presentations. Just last thing that I'll say here, as I said, it is a community effort which defines this initiative. Almost 10 years back when we have launched this initiative, we hardly have a bunch of companies in India. I'm not saying only this initiative has contributed, but it has played a significant role in that. Today, we have more than 300 cybersecurity product companies in the ecosystem. So that kind of shift we have seen in last 10 years or 12 years time frame. So I would request everybody to do participate in this and contribute to identify the most innovative product of the year, particularly for financial sector security. In future, we'll definitely have more such edition, especially this year onwards, and we'll conclude the whole initiative during the annual summit in Delhi in December. So with this, I'll hand over it to Shreya to call out the first presenter, and all the best to all the presenters. Over to you.
Can we put our hands together and invite on stage CyberStack? Can we have you join us? That's the first. Over to you.
Yep, thank you.
5 minutes for the presentation. The clicker is here, and then
Okay.
you'll have the Q&A.
Okay. I'm audible? Good evening, everyone. Today, I am here excited to present you CyberStack Vortex, a state-of-art tool for threat detection, mitigation, and sanitization. CyberStack is a technology-driven company. We have our own anti-malware engine. We do have collaboration with 75 alliance partners. We have our own dedicated R&D center where we have already trained 100 plus ransomware responder people. Apart from that, we have our flagship product Scrutiny and Vortex, where we will be discussing today. This is our trajectory where we have been working with different organizations. Apart from OPSWAT, Polysom, our technology has been aggregated by ARMSO, Maryland Tech Council. We have also creating a SDK for mobile, Linux, SCADA, OT, and the latest add-on of Vortex. So despite huge investment in people and product, many companies still struggle with malware attacks. So there is a gap which also compromise with supply chain attack also. So we have created this project which is inspired by a peacock natural ability where we are excel to capture all kind of threats where user can do report, remove, and sanitize files without sharing that information. We emphasize on cross simulation of a file where we are doing a cross simulation of file whenever we find out the malware is there or not. After that, we will provide a real file to the user. So this is the process where we can scan any file up to 1 GB. We have like internally we can scan 50K scan per day. We can detect any kind of a MIME type, like there are many files which change. So these are all the things. If you are already using a VirusTotal, you can also test our technology. It's like a 30-day, like we are providing a free access, like it can be a premium also, where you can see like all the results are equivalent to the VirusTotal, which is already sharing with 60 plus AV engine. So we support both cloud and on-premises support. Apart from that, these are all the agencies who are using our scrutiny agent who are working with us. This is our co-pilot agent scrutiny, where user can build their own detection, all malware detection based on their IOCs, what we have created. So our partnership with OPSWAT is now in a public and government max offering, where we are already working with them with 80% plus detection. Apart from that, we have a effective protection regarding with APTs groups and banking trojans. With Polysom, we work with crowdsourced threat intelligence, where multiple malware, like we are scanning about 100K files, and we are detecting that file. And recently, we have been promoted to arbiter roles. Yeah, thank you, everyone. So this is our LinkedIn and Twitter ID. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Check. Thank you so much for your presentation. See, this particular market is extremely crowded and getting deeply commoditized,
Yep.
right? So any particular reason why you feel you will differentiate yourself and stay relevant, given that antivirus is almost free of cost?
Yep. So, like many antivirus companies, they work on the signature-based detection. They work on the Yara Sigma rules, right? So we work on a signature-less, And apart from that, we emphasize on simulation intelligence, where we are simulating the file and finding out the true nature of file, if the file is malicious or not. So that's the reason we are working on this profile, and we are dedicated to work on this profile only, where we can bring the new level of evidence of detection, like why we are detecting any file, why we are flagging it suspicious or not. So
But then in that case, what I see is that it's most of a sandbox. It's similar to a sandbox. So you simulate a file and then you see the behavior of that, basis which you are arriving at it.
no, so sandbox is a kind of a time-consuming process. Like if in the fintech also, in a finance institute also, like there are lots of file. If you put a file in a sandbox, it will take lots of time. So where if we find any kind of a malicious nature, we depict it is a malicious thing. And if your user want a sandbox result, so we have a process where we
But
can.
where will you simulate it? You said you will be simulating these
Yeah.
file types.
So yeah, we are simulating that.
You are simulating right on your plans,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And that's on the fly
On the
as
fly,
the
on the
file
fly,
is coming
yes.
in. But how do you then compare it with VirusTotal? Because the way the VirusTotal projects out some of that content is totally different than what you are doing it. So what was the comparison like?
So, like they are not doing the simulation, they are not doing the sanitization.
Yeah.
So we have added this feature on the apart from that, and we are not doing any kind of a data acquisition policy. So we are working on premises, like VirusTotal is online, right? So it's an offline version where we are doing a sanitization and simulation also. So that will be done, like we are doing a 30-day POC, like any developer also, any customer also, if they want to test, they can test it online also.
And how do you feel the go-to-market strategy for this? Because going out in the market, taking this product out, I mean, how do you see that
So
evolving?
right now, as an early stage, what we are doing the integration with different partners. We are integrating with same SOAR tip-based platform where we are providing our threat intelligence over a API access. So people can upload their file, they can get a result. So it's a better view to have a different prospect in different products which are already in marketplace or other.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
In a typical large organization, if you kind of come in and try to sell your product, the first question that I will ask is,
Yep.
out of the various things that I am running, what is it that you will replace?
It's not about replacement, sir. It's about like add-on. What will be we add on? So it is like if there is a AV and EDR, like a customer is already using it, so we can provide a companion tool to it, right? If there is a process like where the user can getting a sanitized file, so it's a kind of an advantage, right? So user can use the sanitized version of file. Thank you.
Okay, my question is related to the market, right? So what is your conversion rate of your 30 days free, which
Okay.
you give,
Okay.
versus the actual subscription?
So right now, what we are doing the POCs with the intelligence and government level. Apart from that, when we do with the developer and people, so they test it out, right? And the conversion is like a 10% right now. So there is a chance of like different cases, but there are 10% of chance where we have already converted people. And there, like in the disaster recovery also, like when there is already attack there, right? People are using our sanitizing feature, like how to do a assessment of their environment also. So that's our add-on.
The last question, are there any 0 days that you identified, Aman?
Sorry?
Are there any 0 days? Because is there any 0 day or anything? How do you make your product stand out?
Right. So,
Okay, so because
in OpSwite and Polyswarm, they are the open. They are the platform which is already in the global market, where we are already competing with other AV and EDR solution, where we have a different detection level. So in PPT also, like we are the only engine who are detecting that malware. So if we are detecting a Daxin kind of malware, which is a Chinese-based malware, so that intelligence is sharing to other vendor also. So that's a kind of separation or kind of evidence we are creating.
are you thinking a B2B or a B2C construct with
B2B,
this?
B2B. So it's a
B2B
B2B,
with
but right now what we do mostly on the integration part.
Okay.
Where we can create a co-build project, where we can create a custom kind of a thing, where user have a visibility about it.
And who are backing this from your management side? How's the structure like?
So structure is a kind of a startup. Like we do not want any kind of a venture group or investment thing to roll out our vision. So we want to go like this. But in the future there is a chance where we will be working on with management team and everyone.
Do any of you have experience in something like this, or what's the
Yeah, so
background
have a
of
team.
your guys?
So we have a team of pro people who work on this malware detection, who have a custom different use case where they have built in the past also, and they are backing our team right now. Yeah. Thank you everyone.
Thank you. Can we have a huge round of applause for CyberStack? Guys, voting pads on the ready. Audience, can we start the countdown for the audience poll? It'll show up on the screen. You don't need to press OK. You remember the scale is 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. For CyberStack, can we have the voting open, please? Please cast your votes. Thank you, audience. Your votes are now recorded. Remember, the same process continues for each one of them that comes in after this one. The next company on stage is Foco. Please put your hands together for Foco.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Arush Ahuja. I'm the co-founder of 4Core. And 4Core is a security startup that helps organizations validate and get the most out of their security controls. Threats are becoming increasingly complex, very sophisticated, and much more harder to detect. One anecdote is, I was talking to a security lead in the financial sector last week. We were discussing the latest advisory by Certain on the Royal ransomware. They told me they've added the hashes and IOCs from the advisory into their security solutions. While hashes and IOCs, they're good measures. But I feel they still put us one step behind the attackers, and we have to end up playing catch up with them. What we want to do is, we want to change this narrative, and by adopting a proactive approach to be able to detect and protect against entire classes of behaviors and attacker variants. This means we have to focus on the top of the pyramid and build defenses against the TTPs and the threats that are relevant to us. This is the primary goal of threat-informed defense. At 4Core, we are building an adversary emulation platform, 4Core Attack. 4Core Attack as an adversary emulation platform allows you to emulate cyber attacks in the most realistic manner to assess the multiple layers of your security solutions in your environment. Be it email security solutions, your email gateways, web gateways, ZTNA solutions, or endpoint security controls and policies. We can assess how effective, and you can gain the visibility, how effective these solutions are against the different TTPs and attacker behaviors. In the financial sector, QuackBot is extremely relevant. So we can emulate the complete attack chain and the life cycle of the QuackBot Trojan. Today, defenders are utilizing the 4Core Attack platform to improve turnaround time in their SOC, understand and gain the visibility against various TTPs, as well as even train their own SOC teams to be better at identifying threats. On the red side, red teamers are utilizing the platform to customize and emulate threats within minutes. What makes us unique is that our focus is on building intel and emulation which are extremely realistic and follows the complete attack chain life cycle. It can start from an email, and then it can be on an endpoint, performing a multi-stage attack or a fileless attack. What this gives you is a unique understanding of your efficiency in your existing security controls. And that's the assessment part. Our feedback loop is assess, validate, and improve. In the final part, improvement, we recommend options such as open standards like Sigma rules and Yara rules to improve your detection and prevention capabilities. Something on our GTM, we started selling 12 months back, and we have generated over 50 lakhs in revenue, and we have deployed 4Core Attack in over 25 production environments. Apart from that, we are working with a lot of MSSP partners who are utilizing the platform to offer their own service offerings. Our vision, as we see it as a startup, is that we want to democratize access to offensive tradecraft and offensive security to defenders so they can improve the security infrastructure. How I see it is that we are moving towards a future in security where security engineering is prominent and detection engineering and threat hunting are skills that will defend the organizations much more effectively. With this foundational ideology, we are building a flexible interface for adversary emulation so that defenders, detection engineers, and threat hunters alike can perform purple teaming, can emulate TTPs, and they can simplify the outcome from offensive activities into actionable recommendations for the organization. We are a team of 3 co-founders. Collectively, over the past 5 years, we have worked in organizations such as NCIPC, NTRO, PIA2, working in different roles as security engineers, pen testers, or security researchers. We have even received accolades such as representing India in international cybersecurity competitions, discovered multiple vulnerabilities in public and private organizations, and built multiple security products in the past. Our experience as security engineers or pen testers, we got the knowledge of offensive tradecraft, which motivated us to work together and build a platform that simplifies that and puts the knowledge of offensive tradecraft to the entire security community. Thank you, everyone. I'm Arush Ahuja, and this is 4Core. Happy to answer your questions.
So this adversary emulation space is something which you have to constantly keep building these, right? So how many use cases or how many playbooks have you created till now? And what is the turnaround time you typically have if there is something being emulated, something which is being exploited in the wild or somewhere, and then you have to challenge that particular timeline? So what's the typical timeline that you take?
I'll target this question in 2 areas. First is the TTPs, and second is the threat intelligence. The TTPs themselves are limited. MITRE ATT&CK has over 500 or 400 set of TTPs, which might be applicable to an endpoint, email, or the web infrastructure. Second is the latest threat intel. I was talking about QuackBot, there's Royal Ransomware, and so many more intel that keeps coming in. First section, we have to build the baseline against these TTPs and then continuously keep assessing the latest threat intel. If we see a latest intel and a new TTP, depending on the complexity of the attack, it might take us a couple of days, or it might take us 4 to 5 days to complete that whole TTP in the most realistic manner. The QuackBot TTP, we were able to get it done in a multi-stage attack manner in just over 4 to 5 days.
How many of those cases have already been pre-built in the tool?
Yeah, so there are around 700 different use cases that we have, which are pre-built as templates on the platform, and you can even customize them to your own requirements.
So 2 questions. One is MITRE framework already integrated in your solution by default? And how is this positioned differently from a tip?
As a tip? Yeah.
Is it a tip or is it
No, it's
different?
not a tip. The Gartner term you would be aware of is breach and attack simulation. We are in the category. While our differentiation as a breach and attack simulation provider is being extremely realistic and emulating the attacks in the most realistic manner. Apart from that, we are integrated with MITRE ATT&CK framework. All of our attacks are linked with MITRE ATT&CK TTPs, and you can understand the coverage, and that is one of the important aspects that SOC teams are using us for. You get a coverage and a graph on how effective, how many techniques have been blocked, how many techniques were detected, and what kind of coverage do you get in MITRE ATT&CK.
I guess we can start the voting now.
That was FOCO. Thank you so much. Can we start the voting? The same process. Audience, the last time there was about 15% of you that didn't vote. How many of you are fence-sitters? Vote now. There are a fair number of you. Let's get our voting pads out and let's get ready to vote. Can we have the voting page open, please? The minute the countdown ticks off, you need to start voting. So I'll tell you when to start. Okay, in case you've already voted, you'll need to re-vote when the countdown timer starts. Wait for the countdown timer, and then we will vote. Console, can we have that up, please? This is when his heart is going tick, 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 tick. And everybody's like, ye kab aayega?
मैं तेरे को busy रखता हूँ यार.
Huh?
तब तक उसको busy रखता हूँ ना. Let me.
हाँ, please. आ गया. Now vote, audience, all of you, come on. Let's see what the percentage of votes are. He is indicating. That's not allowed. It's called subliminal coercion.
We are hackers, so we have to do some social engineering.
Oh, in the name of social engineering, the attacks and threats that people are talking about seem to be engineered here. Okay? Wait, you may not see your ranking. There you go, the 5 worked. Okay, can we have a huge round of applause for them? Next on stage, we have protect.ai. Please put your hands together and invite protect.ai on stage. Same process, you finish your presentation, jury will ask questions, and then we'll go into voting.
Perfect. Hi, my name is Manish, and I'm founder for protect.ai. Just to give you a quick introduction about protect.ai, we are building India's first mobile threat defense company focused on mobile application, mobile device, and mobile transaction security. Before I jump to the solution side, let me give you quick some stats. We talk about digital transformation, and India is seeing a huge amount of transformation, especially on the mobile side of it. So digital transformation is actually mobile transformation which is happening, and if you see some numbers, more than 75 crore smartphone users in India, and 28 billion mobile application downloads. On an average, we are spending 5.5 hours daily only on a smartphone. But once it comes to the security side of it, okay, there's a vast gap which has been identified. If you see 60% of the mobile applications globally, 60% of the apps are prone to reverse engineering or some kind of tampering which can be done. Okay. Primarily, there are two reasons, because we develop these mobile applications as corporate. That same Android developer is also building the kind of security which is required while doing the development work. Okay. So security was always developed by the same mobile app development team, and it was never seen, outside the system. We have done our own research. More than 100 mobile applications, top applications we tested, and we have seen that 95% of the Indian, BFSI apps can be reverse engineered. So there's a vast gap in terms of application security, mobile app security, leading to a lot of frauds happening around it, a lot of cyber threats, data leakage. So what we believe is while we are trying to target $1 trillion digital economy, the mobile application security primarily has to be fulfilled along with it so that we can have a smooth transition to have our digital. So I will be talking about our App Protect mobile application security platform, which is a very lightweight SDK, can be bundled up into Android and iOS applications, provide 50+ security features by default to the mobile applications. While it's a 50+ security features, not only security, it also covers the complete fraud control, data leakage control. We ensure all kind of compliances related to RBI, or related to CB, IDA, OWASP compliances, MITRE framework onto the mobile application side. So mobile application security at the endpoint, fraud control, compliances related to regulatory, as well as a complete telemetrics is available as a part of the mobile application security platform. Very, very easy to integrate. Just takes a couple of days, test it, and in a week's time it is ready to go live with very advanced security capabilities onto the mobile application. Very uniquely feature is like over-the-air update. We can upgrade cybersecurity, mobile application security rules from the backend itself. No need to update your mobile application. Very recently, RBI issued some HASs, blacklisting of the applications, which can be done from the portal. And traditionally, what we do is always keep on updating our mobile applications for these kind of security gaps. So the advantage what we bring on the table is a complete a package for the mobile application security, which is driven by cloud, which is driven by software as a service, and trigger, and we empower it by our AI and machine learning engines, and very easily it can be integrated. India ready market. We do very rapid deployment, and another feature is we offer security operating center SOC capabilities for very sensitive apps, which can be monitored 24/7 for the every session. If there is any threat, we can go and give an alert to the user system. Few of our customers, we launched in January 2022, and just in the span of time, multiple large banks, insurance companies, stock exchanges adopted our solution. Few of them, Yes Bank, RBL, Bombay Stock Exchanges. We have protected more than 800 million sessions from these applications. 80 million threats, and that's a kind of stats. If you will see, 10% of the sessions, mobile app sessions, have one or the other threat identified, and we protect them on runtime basis. Our vision is to protect 2 billion sessions every month, covering over 200 million plus devices over the next 1 year. Some of the customers, we have testimonials from BFSI, from FinCare, and many other banks which has tested, tried our solutions. Our leadership team, along with me, we have our head of engineering, our principal advisor, and a very sales team. We have our technology leadership advisory board, from Professor Sastry to Raj to Navneetan, and completely different type of environment and competency bring on the table. And we are also doing a lot of customer impact programs so that we can ensure what is the knowledge sharing on the mobile application security side. I just crossed that. I'm available for questions. Yeah. Thank you.
So Manish, when you started, you said reverse engineering is something which is largely there. How does this protect reverse engineering?
This is the runtime security, and it gets embedded. Our solution gets embedded into the mobile application. Okay, if somebody is trying to do any kind of tampering or reverse engineering, it is going to protect, and it's a multi-layered security. Right from device, we identify if it's a rooted device, jailbroken, we don't allow. If it's a network-related threat, we stop it. And then somebody is trying to tamper with the APK, we have multiple use cases like checksum validations. We do go and do a server-side validation. And any kind of change into the APK, whether it's not installed from the Play Store, we are able to detect it and provide very advanced protection.
But if somebody does a reverse engineering which is offline, because primarily I can understand tampering is something you will be able to protect through it, but how does reverse engineering get protected as something which
any kind of reverse engineering will lead to the checksum break of the mobile application. So we do go and do checksum validations. Secondly, we do our APK locking exercise.
But that's tampering. Are you taking both of them as same?
So reverse engineering and tampering are jointly, we take it up. As I say,
when reverse engineering can reveal certain things, and what I understood from reverse engineering, all the sensitive information, if there is any not obfuscated and all, that's something which would be visible if you reverse engineer.
So
but for this case, how I interpret your product is it's a runtime protection. If somebody has an APK and the reverse engineering, how will that be protected is something which is not very clear to me.
It's a layered security control. Okay, we do locking of the APK so that people should not be able to break it. Even imagine somebody has done some kind of tampering. If we try to install it, we do installation source validation. So multiple layered controls are available, and then all these code obfuscation techniques are there to prevent any kind of code which can be seen.
So Manish, the MM market has been there for more than a decade now, and so therefore it's one is crowded and also deeply deployed. So what's been your thinking around looking at this as a technology or a control to be deployed at this stage, and how do you differentiate therefore with your customer, and how do you create a new market which will help you to grow?
So this is a market which is related to mobile application security primarily. As I said, we have seen 95% of the apps are vulnerable. Right? Primary two gaps because they have not used any security technologies by building these apps at the endpoint level. I'm talking about, as Rajesh mentioned, somebody can tamper with the APK. How to prevent those kind of tampering? So we see a vast market. This is a concept of runtime self-protection for mobile applications because your apps today are technically running on, customer apps running on millions of devices, and we do not control those millions of devices. It's technically an endpoint for you. So this security protects mobile applications on endpoint, on runtime basis, and this is not yet a crowded market. We see, we are the first company in India to build this kind of solution, and we see a lot of opportunity here.
Is it homegrown or is it something which is acquired?
It is completely homegrown, 100% made in India, and we have done a vast research we took 2 years to build this before we launched it into the market.
Any unique feature that comes with this, because RASP is again, there are pros and cons with RASP technology, right? So it has its good factors and also has bad factors. So anything which you feel you want to pitch as
many of them. We do security as well as fraud control. I will give you one example. Any desk has become a menace for financial applications. Right? People are trying to do fraud, remote desktop access, screen mirroring. So on runtime basis, our solution protect mobile applications from such kind of frauds. Juice jacking is becoming common. Secondly, it is also embedded with very advanced device and SIM binding capabilities. So we provide many features which are very uniquely positioned for the entire protection of mobile applications as well as fraud control, as I said, and compliances together built in.
Does it have granular controls around screen mirroring and all? There are challenges in screen mirroring.
Yeah.
While AnyDesk and all is a good thing to go, but there are screen mirroring applications which are primarily which don't take as a streaming stuff. They take images one at a time and primarily. And image copying is something as part of business functionality you have to allow. How do you address something like that?
So very much customizable. I mean, we do not work on the name of the packages. It's based on the behavior. We understand at the operating system level, if there is a screen mirroring, how the operating system behavior changes. And based on that, it identifies screen mirroring. We can go whitelist few applications if it required, whitelist few screens if it is required, yeah? And not blocking the entire application from screen mirroring. Same is the case with screenshot capture. So we can enable, screenshot prevention on few screens. We can disable on few screens. So it is very much customizable and can be implemented in that ways. Okay, thanks. Yeah? Thank you. Thanks.
And voting screens, please. There you go, 1 to 5. All of you make sure to vote. We have a lot of you in the audience, so. Okay, that was the voting count for Protect.ai.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the votes that have come in so far. Okay, the next startup that we have on stage is CCOP Solutions. Can we put our hands together and invite CCOP Solutions on stage? Over to you.
So cybersecurity in 2020, what did it look like? On an average, enterprises have about 76 different security tools, and it takes up to 205 days to fix critical vulnerability. Now, why is this scenario? Number one problem is there's just too many vulnerabilities out there. It's alert fatigue. Second, how do you prioritize? Prioritization still remains a very manual problem that's being done manually. At SecOps, we tried to solve these problems. So the philosophy that we built at SecOps is organizations should be focusing on what is actually exploitable and not working on a theoretical vulnerability. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say you have a web application. It has a OWASP top 10, maybe bypass authentication vulnerability. It also has a CVE associated with it. But it can only be exploited if your website is internet facing. In your case, it's not. It's behind the VPN. Only few folks internally are using it. So now, although on paper all the checkmarks are ticked, this is not really exploitable. And that's why you and your team should not be spending time fixing this kind of an issue. And that's the kind of insight that SecOps is able to provide. SecOps is a full stack vulnerability and patch management platform. It helps you identify security vulnerabilities, prioritize them, and patch. The scanners are our core scanners, which have been built here in India. Our scanners are one of the fastest in the industry, and our scanners are able to have a very high 99.5% true positive rate when running an authenticated scan. We do prioritization, helping you identify what can actually get exploited in your system, as opposed to wasting time on theoretical vulnerabilities. And based on the feedback that we have been getting from our customers, we are now launching our patching solution as well, where again, in an agentless fashion, you will also be able to automatically remediate these vulnerabilities. So typical product flow works as a user comes onto our platform. He conducts, once the configuration is done, he conducts automated infra scanning, automated application scanning. The data is put into our ML model. Then it goes to our rule engine to make it more deterministic. and then we tell you what are the most critical vulnerabilities, and now you can automatically remediate these. One of the good things about this is it takes absolutely very less time to configure. In a typical vulnerability management setup, it can take anywhere between 3 to 6 months, best case. Because we have an agentless setup, we recently onboarded a customer which had about 8,000 assets over 2 days, a remote Teams call. We got a lot of good reviews about our prioritization, right? So we thought we should open it up to the security community. So just a few months back, we released our prioritization calculator, which takes into consideration CVSS score, EPSS score, which talks about probability of exploitation, and also CISA known vulnerabilities. You can create your own weighted system and then figure out what priority you want to assign to a vulnerability. In last few months, about 5,000 users have used this calculator. This includes academic researchers across the globe, postdoc, PhD researchers, and of course, security and vulnerability engineers across organizations. Vulnerability management within BFSI sector is no longer just a good-to-have solution. It's a regulatory mandate right from RBI, IRDAI, and PCI-DSS. All of them recommend, in fact, PCI-DSS 4 now recommends specifically to have an authenticated scanning, and no longer it relies on unauthenticated bit. We have been recognized consecutively thrice on G2 as one of the high performers under risk-based vulnerability management category. We have also been recognized by Cloud Security Alliance under various different sectors. We are a passionate team of 15 people who have experience working security and building security products. I have experience building security products of 7 years. I'm a dropout of CMU. I decided to drop out and build SecOps solution here in India along with my team. Last October, we raised a small pre-seed round, and although we are profitable from day one, but the one thing that we are most proud of is our diverse set of customers ranging from enterprises to startups to mid-market. Ladies and gentlemen, we are SecOps solution, a full stack vulnerability and patch management platform. Thank you.
So you mentioned that you are agentless. For patch management, I'm assuming you would be using an agent, right?
Right. No, for patch management also, we also do it in an agentless fashion. We would just require access to your system so as to able to get in and perform the patch and then get out.
So you just don't have any agents?
No.
So what are the trade-offs that you have done in terms of some of the visibility? Because it's known that your authenticated scans versus your persistent agents, obviously there are certain things which authenticated scans can never deliver.
Right.
And you can never have a full visibility of your vulnerability. So what kind of decisions or trade-offs you have done to stay pure to agentless?
Sure. So, the point-to-point comparison has been done with a bunch of other solutions, and at almost all places we have replaced the existing traditional VM solutions. So we do well on the speed of the scan and also in the kind of vulnerabilities that we identify. One of the slight drawback is that you cannot have 100% full-time monitoring. Although you can schedule it, so you can, let's say, schedule it every minute to run the scan so that it can, continuously it can run. And what we have made sure is our scanners are extremely lightweight. So when you run the scans, the load on your CPU is about 0.1 to 0.2%. That too also for about 45 seconds to a minute only. So that is a bit we have covered. But yeah, that is one of the flaws that I can identify.
And you mentioned in the beginning of your presentation that you are the current average time to patch a vulnerability is 205 days.
Yeah.
So with your solution, where do you get it down to?
Right. So, that's an industry average, right? With our solution, because we are able to identify vulnerabilities within a minute or two, so you can immediately, we already have workflows in place where, let's say, you can configure if any critical vulnerability comes up, create a Jira ticket, and also schedule it for patching. So once that is done, and if a patch is available, it will automatically go ahead. First, we sandbox the patch, making sure that the patch doesn't break your existing system, and then it goes ahead and patches the system.
How about traditional environments like AX, some of the earlier flavors of Solaris, et cetera, because in those environments, some of these agentless solutions don't work, right?
Right, so if I talk about Windows, for example, so we are supporting right from 2003 servers to the very latest one. We support all the major flavors of Linux, even the which are not officially supported by them. So for example, Ubuntu we support right from 12 to the latest 22, and we'll keep on adding these flavors as and when customer requirement comes up. So far the oldest servers that we have scanned is a 2008 Microsoft server and a Ubuntu 12 machine.
Okay. You have another question? Okay, there's one more question coming up.
Sorry for my bad throat. So you said you do vulnerability assessments as well, right?
Right.
Do you do only the patch-related vulnerability assessments, or do you do configuration assessments also?
Configuration assessment as well also, and we are very specific. Let's say you want to make sure your system is in accordance with PCI, for example, right? So you will be able to get
Okay,
that.
let me ask you CIS.
CIS level 1, CIS level 2.
It all does that. And when you're arriving at the score, I saw EPSS.
Right.
And what are those EPSS and CVSS?
Right. So EPSS, I think it's a good opportunity to tell this to the crowd. So CVSS score was built by first.org. And they say that, which everybody uses, they say that CVSS is not the right metric to identify what is really exploitable. CVSS was never meant to do. So they came up with EPSS score. I am a part of the special interest group of the first.org that works on EPSS score. But the challenge with EPSS is that auditors yet have not accepted it, some auditors. So some of the banks, what they do is now they try to define their own prioritization metrics, and that's what the calculator does. It helps you choose how much EPSS weightage you want to use, how much CVSS, and if you want to consider CISA known vulnerabilities as part of your
But one element which I felt was missing, I mean, not to assess you, but was the asset criticality. I mean, which I didn't find it there as part of that, which would be important for an organization, especially if you are targeting the regulatory sector.
Right.
There, a vulnerability on a critical asset and a non-critical asset, or internet facing and a non-internet facing would mean different things.
Right. Actually, that's a great question, sir. So while onboarding an asset, we do take an input whether this is, is it a crown jewel, is it a production system, is it a development, and if it is a public server or a private server, so some of those metrics, and we do define, so there are three things when we give a priority to a CV, then on top of it, we give asset severity score, and then on top of it, the entire infrastructure score. We are able to do that because we are doing a full stack assessment. So yeah, we do provide that.
And the last question, while at one point you are saying you are meeting the regulatory requirements for all what you are doing, but one of the leg which I saw was contrary to that is automated patch deployment.
Yeah.
Automated patch management is something which is risky, while you may do it at an operating system layer, wherein you can assess in the sandbox whether the OS will work or will come up even if it's rebooted.
Right.
But your applications can largely go down. Right. So how do you see that, or how do you sell something like that to the market?
Right.
When you see a question coming in, this is something which is violation to the regulations.
Great question, sir. So automated patching works well for non-regulated because they don't have that burden. For regulated environment, we cannot automatically patch, but we can give them enough information about the patch, what kind of patch it is, from where to download it, whether is it a revertible patch or not, whether the patch would require a restart of the system or not. So the regulatory environment can use it in that fashion so as to have a better knowledge on what patch they are about to deploy, and then they can conduct that manually.
And what is the stack that you are compatible with? Because if you have to automate that patch, probably is it only Windows, or is it only Linux, or do you go for devices? What is the stack that you cover as part of your overall suite?
Right, sir. So we have just launched patching for Windows, and now in July we'll be launching it for all sorts of Linux systems. Windows also covers at this point in time your applications. So you may have a Google Chrome, the popular applications, so you may have a Google Chrome or a Zoom, so it will be able to cover those patches as well.
And are you giving the repository of patches as well, or you're connecting it directly to the source to fetch and do it?
From the source.
Since it's Windows, it's easier primarily. But tomorrow when you go for Linux, there are different variants of Linux that would be there.
Right. So sir, this is something that's already in R&D. We will be generating our own repository for Linux specifically. For Windows, the problem is solved, and that's how we'll be conducting for the Linux.
And how about, sorry, I'm taking too much time, but how about the configurations?
Right.
Say, when configurations, you don't have any patches. I mean, is that patch menu, say automated patch management, are you talking only of the patches which are released by OEMs, or are you talking of configuration fixing as well?
So configuration fixing, we currently are focused on the compliance bit. So let's say PCI says you should not have SSH daemon as root, right? So those configurations can be automatically fixed at this point in time.
Okay.
All right, can we have the voting screens, please? CCOP Solutions. Can we have the countdown? Audience, 1 lowest, 5 highest. Go ahead, cast your votes. The votes are in. There you go, congratulations. Audience, jury, and participants, we have 2 more left. Let's keep this to time. We have Secure Blink coming up on stage next. Secure Blink, please join us on stage and take it away. Please put your hands together.
So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So, I'm Tapendra Dey, founder and CEO of SecureBlink.
And I am Sonal Khanna, Head of Strategic Initiatives at SecureBlink. So, at SecureBlink, we are providing automated application and API security testing solutions. So, we understand the criticality of securing your applications and APIs, especially considering that the 90% of cyber attacks on BFSI sector target them, as mentioned by the World Economic Forum.
So, some of the major challenges that the existing solutions are there in the market are like they have the incomplete coverage over the vulnerabilities when we talk about, as they are mainly focusing on the signature-based approach. The ineffective prioritization is there, and the longer remediation time that we have seen, the mean time to remediate, which is ideally going from 50 to 60 days. So to counter it up, we have came up with this product, ThreatSpy. It's an AI-based platform where we are automating the complete process from the identification till the remediation, and we are offering a heuristic detection over to that. So where we are combining both the signature and the hash-based signature approach, where we have a capabilities to even detect the zero-day vulnerability present inside the applications and APIs. So within a few seconds, you can connect your assets to this product, and after that, it kickstart with the scanning of those assets in a real-time manner. So we also offer the automated prioritization. That's the way more than the CBSS framework that's there inside our product, and we have came up with the reachability framework, and this is what which is making us different from the other set of tools. And in the remediation side, we have came up with the curated steps. So we are focusing on the stack-oriented remediation. So if your application is basically in the Django or in the JavaScript, so we will be providing you steps to remediate the vulnerability in that specific framework. So that way, the mean time to remediate, we are reducing it from 54 days to within few days. And also, this complete set of actions can be automated with the playbooks that we have inside our product. And the product can get easily integrated to all the workflow apps, whether it is a Trello, Slack, Jira, and also it can be a part of your DevOps pipeline. So it can be integrated to the Jenkins, Travis, GitLab, and Circle CI, so through which you can initiate the scan the moment the developers are making a commits.
So we offer several use cases when it comes to BFSI sector, which includes web app and API scanning, some like meeting compliance and regulatory standards, adherence to the SOC 2 and PCI DSS, etc., threat mitigation, incident response, and third-party vendor risk management. So we have designed ThreatSpy to cater the diverse security needs across various sectors.
So this is our product roadmap looks like, and in the Q2 2023, we'll be integrating it with the DevSecOps pipeline, and then we will be utilizing the large language models to give you a more curated steps. So that's a process on which we are already working on, and we have designed and trained our own models over the GPT-4s and all, so that you can get the direct steps to fix those vulnerability within our code itself. So far in terms of product adoption, we were able to scan 500 domains and IPs. We were able to identify 18,000 plus vulnerabilities present in those applications and APIs. 7,000 are being remediated through our product, and the 6 plus we have reported to the CERT. So this is how our reports look like, which can be exported through the product. It's a management report which will give you a complete glimpse of how many vulnerabilities that we have identified and with the different level of prioritizations. And a detailed report, you will be getting a complete set of instructions and the steps to fix those vulnerabilities and where we have identified and the steps to revalidate it. So we have got an experienced team on board and who holds like a decades of experience coming from mainly in the applications and the API security segments.
So we are serving customers not only from India, but also across globally. So which includes the sectors coming from government, fintech, healthcare, edtech, and consumer tech.
So we have been recognized by the DSCI and been supported by the C3I of IIT Kanpur, and we are being featured on the multiple media channels. Yeah. So join us in our mission to revolutionize the application and API security. And I'm excited to have any questions you may have.
Thank you.
This is an AppSec space, right?
Yeah.
And you said API scanning.
Yes.
So is it more so of a black box testing that you do, or you do also a gray box testing?
So gray and black, we cover both the testing. So you need to upload the API definition files to this. We cover the REST, GraphQL, SOAP, all three definitions. And that way we can perform the authenticated scans over the APIs. And while injecting the unexpected data to it, so that's a heuristic scanning that we're using within this.
And even for applications, you can do a gray box testing if the credentials are given at handover.
Yeah. So you need to provide, like, if you're using authorizations like JWT-based tokens, so you need to provide the token values with the highest privilege level, and that way we can scan it. And the same
But
can be go with the piece.
how do you ensure that those tokens which are handed over to you, because that's something which will be production specific, as protected, and so see, this being a SaaS service, I suppose.
Yeah.
So how do you demonstrate to a customer that the tokens which is handed over is sensitive and it's going to be protected in your environment?
So the tokens that they are giving to us, we are tokenizing them, and we are storing it in an encrypted format over our servers. So that will be accessible by the specific user who have uploaded it, and the team, the scanner will be accessing it while performing an authenticated scan over the apps and APIs.
How many false positive percentage that you see?
So right now, we are getting like 4%, that's a false positive that's there. And we are trying to reduce it with the capabilities of AI and ML, that's what we are working on. And in the coming time, we will be advancing the scanner more in order to detect the zero-day vulnerabilities with the heuristic scanner.
And I saw that you are trying to integrate with the DevSecOps pipeline and all. So what part of DevSecOps can this solution take care of?
So the moment the developers are making a commit, we kickstart with the scan. So the image will be available over the Docker and will get pulled, and the scanner get initiated. And then we perform the complete set of identification of the vulnerabilities and the attacks over them in a real-time manner. So we are offering a light and deep scan which goes around half an hour to 2.5 hours. And that way we will be able to get all that set of data available inside our dashboard, which can be easily accessible.
Does it do a runtime scan as well? The runtime vulnerability assessment, runtime scan. So when the code is running, does it do a scan that time as well, or is it a static SAST? I mean, sorry, it's a DAST.
So it's a DAST, like.
Yeah, it's only a DAST, but does it do a runtime, I was asking.
So right now, like, it's only scanning while you are making a commit. So after making a commit, in the build process itself, we start with a scan of it.
And what's the market that you have today for this?
So right now, like, we got a customers in India and out of India. So we are serving some customers in South America, in Latin America, and Mexico and all. So that's where we have in the fintechs, and then we have in the government sectors, and we have in health tech and all.
And how does it help in remediation? Because I saw the word remediation also there.
So in the remediation side, like, the curated steps have been provided. So where we are helping.
So you are giving a knowledge-based link for something to.
No. So we have created a complete set of steps, like what is coming from the National Vulnerability Database, and after that we have created our curated steps over there, and then we are directly giving it to the hands of developers to easily fix it over there.
But then, are you not moving from your product focus to a service focus if you are just going to create that? Is it that you will be creating on demand? Or
No. So it's an automated, like, everything is being offered with.
Okay, get it. Thanks.
Voting lines, please. Go ahead, audience. This was quicker than we anticipated. तुम लोग हंस रहे हो, वोट किया तुम लोगों ने? Fastest fingers first. Secure Blink, the results. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, inviting on stage, but last but not the least, Zaronsek, can we have you on stage, please?
Good evening, folks. So my name is Deepak. I'm the founder and CEO of ZeroSec, and today we'll speak about our product, which is in SOAR category. He's Ravi, our CTO.
Good evening, everyone.
So why do hackers succeed? I want to start with the problem statement. We all have tons of technologies. We buy, we deploy, endpoint protection to network platforms, to application server. We have all these platforms, which we call our attack surface. To protect these, we buy SIM, SOAR, threat intel, and a bunch of other technologies in vulnerability management, like the folks discussed, in cyber forensics, et cetera. These technologies don't speak to each other. Those infrastructure or the attack surface do not send enough information to these platforms. Then folks who work on this, they don't get the coordinated information. They cannot speak with each other on time, and that is primarily the reason why hackers succeed. And then, of course, the processes. We have understood this problem. We have created a bunch of tools, but today we are going to focus on SOAR, which helps coordinate and orchestrate because time is very important. So in an emergency, the questions we have is like, where is attack? On what systems? At what stage? How serious? What type of attack it is? Is it DDoS, ransomware? What users are impacted? Severity? What is not working? Is data breached? Who needs to engage? Where to start? Duplicates? Who needs involved? Which alerts has more risk? What is the priority? Where to focus first? Any patterns observed? Who is working on what in an emergency? What is the alert volume? Do we have pending queue? Investigation results? Remediation actions? Remediation change approval, because we need to make change in an emergency, and everybody has their own baby. They don't want that to be changed haphazardly. So how does Akasha, our SOAR tool, solve this differently? So we reduce the alert fatigue. We provide war room collaboration. We provide SOC workflow orchestration. Incidents need to be prioritized based on the asset criticality, vulnerability, user criticality. There are multiple factors. So we have considered all those based on our experience serving customers. Minimizing the resolution time. Of course, playbooks and runbooks. We do alert context enrichment. Forensic investigation audit trails are integrated. We work with Sandbox. Infected file you can bring in, throw it to the Sandbox, bring the result, extract IOCs, and work on it. And we integrate with more than 100 platforms. So mean time, so total incidents to mean time, to acknowledge, to escalation rate, to reopen rate, to open incidents, to average overdue time, to mean investigation time, the critical information which KPIs, executives need as a KPI, we provide. This is how platform looks like in action in a few seconds. Bringing security, bringing simplicity to the security is our mission. Security is always complex and scary. We thought we'll try to make it simple. So this is how easy it is to create the playbook on our platform. All the platforms which are there in the market. I'll move to the next one. Our go-to-market, we are addressing $3 billion market, annual, government, BFSI, pharma, defense, and PSUs, and e-commerce in India is what we focus on. We'll go through, we will work with system integrators, distributors, resellers, consultants, globally, telco, aviation, government, biotech, pharma, oil and gas. We will work with trainers and partners. Myself, Deepak, my brother Mahesh, Ravi, three team up. It's a team. Apart from security operations product, we also have SIM, threat eye, threat intelligence stuff. These are the customers who we have served, a lot of experience serving them, building their SOC, and that's all.
So thank
Open for the
you.
question.
So after deploying the SOAR, what is the productivity that one can expect from the security operations?
First of all, you'll have visibility as to what's going on, right? Right now, you don't have any information as to what's going on in your security operations. You will have clear reports, you will have clear dashboard. Like you drive a car and you have dashboard as to the fuel, to at what speed car is going. We do similar thing for the overall enterprise IT security posture. We also tie vulnerability information, and looking forward to partner with the folks who have presented here, from API security to vulnerability management. Honestly, didn't expect that we'll see this here, but really thankful to DSAI to bring us here.
Yeah, my question was, what is the productivity that you provide once you deploy a SOAR? What is the productivity that we can expect in the SOC operation? So if there are 100 people, how many people will get reduced?
So from prioritization to categorization to deduplication to auto routing to investigation auto. So once you get the alert, you have to investigate a lot of things, right? From threat intel perspective, if just because threat intel is saying there's a problem, that it's not a problem. So we go to VirusTotal, Malshare, all those platforms, bring the context. We let customers choose what is risk for them. Just because VirusTotal is saying 90%, Malshare is saying 45%, and 5 incidents in an hour, we don't want to define that. It varies from customer to customer, industry to industry. So investigation automation, collaboration automation, response automation. So speed of an attack, is understanding speed of an attack is important, and so speed of investigation, and so speed of remediation. So from analyst to, let's say, change approver, we need to immediately make change to the firewall and Active Directory. Both the change owners are different. How do you engage them immediately? So we are looking to start with calling them from specific number. That's in the roadmap. Right? If they don't answer, use other methods, put to their email. They have to just. We will also put the criticality report as to this incident is with the critical asset, dealing with specific vulnerability, impacting so and so business area, and so you should approve this change. And if others need to get involved, press the button. Microsoft or Zoom call will fire up. Everybody gets on the call and take the decision right there.
Say, for SOAR, typically the success story, the time window for proving it as a successful tool, what according to you is the average time that you take for a client where somebody onboards you? Let's take an enterprise. I mean, you decide the size of that enterprise, but typically by the time it's procured till the time it's considered to be a success. So by the time, what is the average time that you feel in your deployments, and what's your experience on that?
See, when it comes to security operations, globally, customers are not mature. People are still figuring out log management, the detection strategy.
No, sorry, let me rephrase. So it's more on SOAR. I understand your product, what you're pitching is SOAR, right? I'm just talking of SOAR. Let's believe that the SOC was whatever maturity that is there.
Okay.
There's a client who onboards you and say, okay, come and do a SOAR for me. Let's believe that probably there are 10,000 assets for him, for you to integrate and make it going. You integrate your SOC, everything is in place. Now, from today, what is the average time that typically the clients uses your product, or your deployment time in your mind, or what according to your pitches, that typically this is the time a client normally takes to get a SOAR deployed? And other thing is, you mentioned there are 100 platforms you are integrated. How many playbooks come by default with the platform?
See, we have around 60 playbooks.
60
and
playbooks.
Creating playbooks is a 10-minute job.
Okay.
Like you can say, like you do stuff in Ansible Tower, you can just drag, drop, and create. Depends on, what you deal with. If all your ducks are in a row, in less than a month, you can deploy and be running with the platform.
1 month, SOAR platform will be up and running.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Okay, can we have the voting cards, voting pads, voting lines open, please? Everybody, audience, on the go, ready, set. Please cast your votes. And let's see what the results have to say. There you go. Thank you. Okay, while we take about 10 minutes to figure out the results from the jury, I'm going to invite on stage Pawan from ThreatCorp. Pawan, if you're here, can you join us? Hi, Pawan. Pawan, if you can hand over tokens of, I'm guessing, winners from the contest that you've been running. Can we have Rajendra Bhalerao from Scotia Bank? Scotia Bank. Yes, the first winner. Audience, come on, you guys can clap better than that. Like, really, thank you. Gurpreet Singh from IDBI Bank. Do we have Gurpreet Singh from IDBI Bank? Okay, he's not here. The next one, is here? Oh, yes. There you go. Can we have a huge round of applause for Gurpreet Singh from IDBI Bank? The next winner, Vaibhav Dhage from Flexi Loans. Can we have the last award? Congratulations to the winners. These are going out from ThreatCorp. Thank you. Thank you, Pawan. Okay, so I'm going to do a bit of a, we have 3 minutes. I have a flight to catch. Audience, let me first off say thank you to all of you. You guys have really been phenomenal. You have played to every little tune that I've expected you to dance to. So thank you so much. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. I do want to say thank you to the sponsors and the exhibitors and our delegates and our speakers, and of course everybody who put the event together. Team DSEI, a huge round of applause and a pat on your back as well. The final closing will not have me, so I'm just doing a quick. Okay, so there's a quick pop quiz I'm going to hold for the next couple of minutes. Let's see if you all know the answers. What is the term in network security for an attack where a person or program allows themselves to be identified as someone else by falsifying data? It is no laughing matter, but when the word is used in film or cinema, it can be. Does anybody know the answer? What? Hand up, loud and clear answer. Yes? No? 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 No, somebody said it. Somebody in the audience said it. When the hint is, when used in cinema or film, it can be funny. Who said that first? Can we have a huge round of applause, and can we have an award, a reward going over to the gentleman there? Spoof is the right answer. Okay, what colorful apparel is also a two-word term for a computer security expert who engages in ethical hacking to help expose and fix security flaws within a company's information system? No. White hat is the answer. The first answer that we got on that question. In May 2021, the FBI declared that what ransomware group was responsible for the cyber attacks that forced the shutdown of the Colonial Pipeline petroleum networks? Who said that first? Honest, hand to heart. There. You guys have to decide because you all are answering happily, so. Can we have two going out to both of them? Both of you put your hands up. We're feeling very generous this evening. Do we have the results? Okay, so for the final closing, for the award ceremony, for the results, and for everything else, please put your hands together for the man of the hour, Vinayak Godse, CEO of DSCI. I'm handing over the stage to him in his safe hands as I say goodbye to all of you. Vinayak, it's over to you, and I will see you in the next one.
Thank you. We are still waiting for some time for the award, where all the jury will come to give the award. Innovation Box is something we are concluding with this, and probably you know there is a final Innovation Box that had been, would happen in AISS this year. We probably will do on other cities as well and do a grand finale in December in Delhi. So I remember when we started this Innovation Box with Vishal and his team, first Innovation Box in Mumbai, 2014 if I remember well. And from there, I'm seeing the kind of ecosystem which has evolved of the startup, right? 2013, 14, almost 20, 25 startups, but we have now 300 plus startups, right? Which is quite significant growth. And thanks to that ecosystem, which really helped growing this ecosystem basically, right? And one of the key part is definitely security community and the CISOs, which trusted on the startups, the government nowadays, defense also nowadays basically, right? And I'm really happy to see, I was in Madurai, gone for some kind of spiritual trip, and there is one startup there in Madurai, which is doing quite significant critical work with Big Bang, with the defense organization. And there is if you go to Gujarat, small cities, there are startup in different small cities as well. It's not only limited to the big cities, basically, right? So that's what this ecosystem, and we have now specific initiative, specific effort called as the National Center of Excellence for Cybersecurity Technology and Entrepreneurship. Colonel Vinith is leading that from DSA, and there's a specific team which is in DSA to look at that particular part. So overall, I think when we thought about the Financial Security Conclave this year, we had been doing this as a small sound format conference. This is 5th year basically, and then pandemic came, and we are not sure about how would this go. When we set up this conference with this many sessions, this many speakers, initially skeptical whether they will get a response, but response came from all the direction. Means literally this probably first time happened in Mumbai, where we had to close the registration almost 4-5 days back because we are getting too many registration coming on the online platform. The sponsorship slot was also closed almost 3-4 weeks back. So this kind of response, then the response also comes in vibrancy that we had seen in each of the discussion, each of the session, each of the workshops that we try to do basically. So this tells us that Mumbai is certainly a city of innovation, city of deep deliberation of a subject like a cybersecurity. And for that, I think I really thank all of you for being part of this deliberation National Security Conclave of this year. And with this also gives us a confidence that we will do something bigger next year. So our annual Information Security Summit is known for the largest event of cybersecurity in the country in industry perspective. Probably we'll try to make something similar next year for FinSec as well, actually, with more startups. So this year, FinSec was also very important from the focus we have for startup. There is a specific pavilion for startup. They got a lot of good traction. We have this innovation box coming here, basically. So, and then we also have one of the key things which we must have realized that there are a lot of professors are coming now for the conferences, right? So IIT Mumbai and many professors. So that is also becoming very dominant because we are focusing on research, we are investing on research, we have created fund to invest into research basically. So all this we have been doing, and while this has been doing DSA team itself, I really want to update you on the DSA team. We have expanded quite a lot. 2-3 years back, we were just 15, 20, 25 people. Now, total DSA team strength is almost 76, quite significant jump in terms of the team. Quite good support that we are getting. We didn't have much presence out of Delhi, but we have presence in now Bangalore, presence in Pune, Mumbai. We have team members there. We have team members in Chennai, Hyderabad. We know that there is a big team in Hyderabad as well. So we are also working and trying to see what can we do together. So we are working with regulators as well, with the RBI, long story. RDA, SEBI, they have been very closely working with us, and we are working with them. Now NPCI, UIDA are members of that entire digital ecosystem and understanding that we build engaging with them. And with all this, I think we also try to make in a way that this is engagement, right? It's more dialogue, more conversation, more kind of exchanges where it happens. And the CISO community also, we get them together and not every time not really discussing very deep down technology area. So yesterday we have just fun discussion with CISO, and that's quite vibrant and humorous kind of discussion. So security profession is very difficult profession, but probably we need to also give call for some of the creative angle of us. Somebody is doing a lot of those kind of physical activity in terms of running. So our earlier CISOs, Ramesh, Rakesh, so all of them have been doing a lot of other things as well. So that also needs to be coming as a part of this community, and we are trying to do that. So this year in October Cybersecurity Awareness Month, we want to do again some interesting activity from the CISO security community, and see how this overall year goes for us. G20 is definitely taking too much of our time because government of India want to do so many things in G20 in cybersecurity space. All of us had been engaged on that. There's a big conference happening in July on cyber crime and cyber security, which MH is doing. It's a G20 plus conference, G20 plus so many international community coming. If you happen to be coming there, if you want to participate that, we could help you to be part of that conference. And then every city is doing something in cybersecurity space. So overall, I think the team DSCI plus the ecosystem, plus the speakers here, the jury here, all the speakers, all the participants, more importantly, the sponsors and startups basically. So that's what it defines this overall event that we do as a DSI, and overall DSI is what DSI is basically, right? So where it was in 2008 and now where it is basically, and this year, as I talk about, very inflection year for cybersecurity, and next 10 years will be very different year in terms of cybersecurity as well. So we'll wait for 2-3 minutes for the result to come, and because I know you all are waiting, but some little calculations required to be done because you all are voted for that. That vote needs to be counted and factor in final selection. Aditya, where we are, can you just check? Yeah, you want to say something? Yeah, please.
I always love to speak.
Yeah.
Say, I know you complimented a lot of guys, but let me put it on record, and we were just internally chatting. So we should thank you for the work you are doing as DSCI. I mean, ever since your leadership you have taken over, we see certain changes. You're working with academia, you're working with startups, you're working with the CISOs. So hats off to you, man. I mean, you have been the driving force for all that's happening, especially the AISS we saw last time. Probably it was more crowded than RSA that we typically see, right? So great job done. I mean, yes, we are all there. We want the ecosystem to evolve. We will always contribute to it. And I, on behalf of at least the CISO community, can always vouch for it that we appreciate the work done by DSCI, NCOE, and all that stuff, and we are always there to support you folks in all that you guys are doing.
Thank you. Thank you. We still have 2-3 more minutes.
किसी और को भी बोलता हूँ 2-4 मिनट बोल दे.
Yeah, we need to wait for 2-3 more minutes for the time this will come in. I know Vishal knows it because he was a part of this process some time back. Calculation takes some time, and that's why we are keeping you waiting. I know it's a Friday evening, Friday night here, and anybody else want to talk something?
So Vinayak, I think one of the things which I observed, and I think, it's been a while since I had attended an event, and I was there yesterday and today, and I think the amount of vibrancy that is there in the cybersecurity industry is just palpable. I think it was very exciting for me to meet up with a lot of young talent in the country to talk about cybersecurity, and I think we need that, and we need to encourage that. And the fact that we've been, this is our 9th year, right, of Innovation Box, and the fact that, it's been growing. I was just mentioning to Rajesh that the amount of work that you personally have been driving for encouraging and identifying and recognizing the startup community in cybersecurity is really appreciated. And I think we need to continue to do that. And because the country needs it, the world needs it. Just like we have done a fantastic job in the last 2 decades for the IT industry. And now we have some global companies who are doing it. Why not we do it for cyber, and why not we do it for cyber product companies? So that's, I think, personally for me is very, very exciting. I never seen so much of energy. So thank you guys, and keep up the good work.
And something I've seen in Madurai or something I've seen in small places inspires us as well, right? So because this team which resigned from their jobs in US and came back. So there is also a team here which was working in Meta, resigned from that and came back and started in Nagpur actually. So finally the results are getting ready.
This was the jury vote, and this was the audience poll. This is just like some. This is the audience poll. This is the number.
Yeah, please. Can somebody pass the mic to mic?
Just like 0.04. Protect.ai is coming as a winner, and this is just like 0.04. Actually, we don't have trophy, but we can do it later.
So, good evening, everybody. So, I would like to thank the entire DSCI team and also NCOE team for giving us this opportunity. So, being the winner of the Innovation Box last year, 2022 at the AISS, so it was definitely a game changer for us. And so thanks to DSCI for giving us this opportunity. So I believe that it's a very good platform for all the startups to showcase their talent, what is the innovation they have brought into picture, being a Make in India product, how it is actually changing the ecosystem of cybersecurity from our country. So this is definitely a very good platform. I'm sure that it is going to take all the startups to the next level so that they can engage more with the customers.
Yeah.
So thank you once again, DSCI, for this wonderful opportunity.
Yeah.
So just allow us 2 minutes. We are going to announce the results, but just 2 minutes.
Oh, still 2 minutes. Okay.
So we are back. So I'll request Vinayak and the jury members to come on the stage. Again, 30 seconds. But it was really a tough competition. What I said initially, it was tough to identify those 6. Now it is really tough here as well. So the idea was to have 1 winner and 2 runner-ups. So any guess on the runner-up? The second runner-up? Runner-up certificate. Runner-up certificate first. Okay. So Secure Blink is the second runner-up. Okay, so the first runner-up. 4-core team. Now the final one. Any guess? It was really tough. Protect.ai and SecOps together. So congratulations, all the winners, and thank you. And we have only one trophy here. Good, we have to give another one, so we'll share that later. So thank you, jury members, and all of you for joining us for this event. And as I said, we'll have multiple versions of this innovation box coming up in future. We'll keep you guys posted on that. So once again, thank you.